here. I just thought it would be fun to just share a little bit about my background so you can kind of get a sense of why maybe I hold human design the way that I do and why I'm so relationally based. For a while I just gave a lot of single session readings, which was great and fun. And one session of human design, if you really get into it, if you really respond to it, if it speaks to you, it can totally change your life. And in some ways, it can make up for years and years of psychotherapy if you're just basically using therapy to kind of logically figure out what your problems are and analyze your feelings and try to make logical decisions that are supposedly going to be more healthy for you. Human design can just blow all that shit out of the water and really just instantly align you with something inside of yourself that is so much more intelligent than your mind, right? So human design is amazing that way. And I want to say that my background is in counseling, psychotherapy. It's in the expressive arts, in drama therapy. So everything I've done, when I think about it, when I go all the way back, even my rebirthing days, when I was doing a lot of breath work, it was all about finding ways to bypass the mind and access truth in alternative forms. Because I think at some level I always had a little bit of suspicion about what was going on up here. Because I had a very, very busy mind that was very good at analyzing and understanding just about everything, but it wasn't necessarily making me happy. So I was very attracted to all these alternative forms of accessing truth, Jungian psychology, delving into the unconscious, all that kind of stuff. So I guess it's not a surprise that I was drawn to human design. And why I was just so excited when I learned things about myself that all the years of psychotherapy I had done didn't reveal to me. And especially this thing that I actually had a whole other part of me to rely on when it came to making decisions. So all the analyses that I had done up until that point were really kind of not that important when it came to my everyday practical decision-making process. It was totally mind-blowing in more ways than one. That said, I am still a total believer in the healing power of relationship. And maybe it's just in my design. I'm super tribal. I don't know what that is, but I just think there's nothing like it. There's nothing like working with someone over a period of time who knows you and who sees you and who cares about you and who can love you through your most painful, shameful times. When we're looking at the gene keys, we're looking at shadow material. We're looking at the deepest fears that we hold as humanity, many different kinds of them, but it's all basically fear. All the ways in which we feel like we are victims of, or separate from, or alone, or isolated from the whole. These big existential things that we all suffer from. All the Buddhists, looking for the cause of suffering. Suffering is something we human beings do. And so to be in the presence of someone who can be with us in our suffering and can shed light on it, but also trust that we know what to do if we're really listening. There's nothing that can really replace that. There's nothing that can replace trust between human beings. So I guess I want to encourage two things if you're looking to do some human design work. One is to really trust the chemistry that you feel with somebody. It's very important. This is like a big transmission to get from somebody. This is somebody who's going to be telling you about your nature, your openness, and how you're meant to move through life. So you want to be working with somebody who you trust, where there's a good chemistry. You want that transmission to come through someone where it's like it's yummy. It's like it sinks in like butter. That's what you want. And if you're going to work with someone longer term, then that's even more important. And I would even say, I think, in the old days, like I used to just give human design readings. And it was great. I'd pack millions of things into it. I think I mentioned that in that old video I have on my website still. I would give 3.5-hour readings. Totally overwhelm people. But I think that was partly because I felt like this is the last time I'm ever going to get to talk to this person. So I want them to have everything I can possibly pack into this session, right? totally overwhelm them, overwhelm myself, wasn't really totally following my own energy body, which was probably done by the hour and a half range as opposed to the 3.5 hours. Yeah, so I used to do that. And I kind of like ended up feeling unsatisfied, because I never get to hear from them afterwards. Like, oh, how are you doing? How is this working for you in your everyday life? How are you applying it? What are you resonating with? What aren't you resonating with? Where is human design really helpful? And where is it actually just a pain in the ass? And where can we bring other tools and other bodies of knowledge or other meditative practices or creative practices into the picture so that you get to be you and you get to be supported. Like, that's where I live, right? So not everybody's the same, right? That's the human design thing. So I'm a very tribal person. I like to be in there with people. I like to get in there into the details of their lives and really support them. And yeah, I just want you to know that that's also a possibility. It's also a possibility. And especially, like, I've been to a lot of psychic readings. I've given psychic readings myself, which are often one-time thing. You're kind of like reading an energy of the moment, and you can get a lot of information that can last you a really long time. But it's a very different thing than human design, which is really about integrating a practice, a spiritual practice into your life. So I guess I want to encourage any of you who either have gotten a reading and that was it, and it just became one thing, like one more reading that you got, and it kind of fizzled out. Or you who might be just like, you got it and you were ignited and it really inspired you, but now you're kind of feeling stuck or like you're alone, you don't know where to go next. Like, I want to encourage you to reach out, keep reaching out, find somebody that you can work with over a period of time so that you can really ground yourself in this experiment. And of course, like, oh my God, if you just, bring in the integral human design and gene keys, this can be like a lifelong exploration that could add such richness and depth and beauty to your life. So I guess I want to give you permission to do that if you're feeling like you want to. I need that. I need that. And a really cool thing, like, I don't know if you heard of this deep dive that Teresa Collins and Marshall and some other wonderful people are doing together. Originally, I did the deep dive where Richard Rudd was involved. I don't think he's a part of it now, although he's a huge part of it since it's all his material and he's talking and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, the deep dive, it's a way to virtually connect with people all over the world who want to dive into this material together and really enter a contemplative process that is just really beautiful. So there are many ways to do it. So there like, you can seek out an individual person, you can do a little group. There's maybe some groups that are local for you or some virtual groups that are out there based on your type. There are parenting things. If you go on Facebook, you can see there are all kinds of human design groups. Human Design America, Human Design Community, Human Design Marin, Human Design Hawaii. There's like, and all kinds of things. So I want to encourage you to explore and to give yourself permission to approach this in a way that really nourishes you and has long-lasting effects. Because otherwise it's just going to be like one more thing, and that's not, this has potential to be much, much more than that. Yes. And so, of course, if you're interested in connecting with me and exploring whether there's any way you and I could work together over time, I am very open to that too. But mostly I want you to feel like you have permission to do a little shopping around and to feel out the chemistry and to work with somebody who inspires you, who leaves you feeling like the pressure is lifted as opposed to more pressure to be a certain way. Okay, so have a wonderful evening for me, day for you, I don't know, and I will see you around.